Welcome to the Orpheus training series. This is Matt Navarre. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about running reports in Orpheus. So if you click on the Reports button on the main menu, that takes you into the report screen. As we've seen in the previous lesson, one of the things that you can do from here is just simply search the report database by clicking this icon here and then doing a line list type of a search for all the diseases you wanted to see. So for example, if I wanted to find all the cases of Salmonella typhi, I can choose Salmonella and go to the subtype and type typhi and hit search, and it will give me a list of all of those cases of that disease. And I actually see typhi and typhimurium because in this case, typhi contains the word typhimurium. I can also break that down by doing the same type of a search and then putting in equals typhi. If you put the equals sign in, that will say it's an exact match for exactly what you type in here. I'll run that search. And now I only get those two typhi cases. The equals search will take longer because it's an exact match type of a search. So that's one type of a report that you can get, which is a simple line list. Other ones that you can get, you can kind of see a little preview by simply clicking on the little line here, and it shows you sort of what that will look like, although with sample data. So for example, if I want to get a disease by month, and I want to get a Salmonella report for statewide for all counties, I just go to the disease here and I put in Salmonella, and I want it for all counties, and I want it for 2009. So I'm going to put 1/1/09 to 12/31. By the way, if you leave the year blank in any date field in Orpheus and just hit tab here, it'll automatically fill in the current calendar year that you're in right now. So then I'm just going to click Run Report, and what will happen here is it'll pop up a new window with a list of all the Salmonella cases this year in 2009, and it gives me the count of them by month. So I can see in April there was 2. This is fake data, of course. There was a lot more cases than this in the live version, and for a total of 11 cases. And then when I'm done with this report, I can either print it by clicking the Print button, or I can save it as a PDF file or save it as an Excel spreadsheet. And then when I'm done, I can just close the window here in the top right. So another feature that you get for reports is an advanced find. So just like we saw in previous modules for finding, you can click this advanced find button, and that gives you to a screen that you might be familiar with, which has all the extra features. So what you first chose on the list was Salmonella cases. It automatically defaults to confirmed and presumptive, but maybe now I want to say I don't want to see just confirmed and presumptive. I want to see all cases, including suspect and no case records. And maybe that's the only change I want to make. So this is actually going to be a larger set of records potentially. Yes, now I'm looking at 17 instead of 11 cases because I'm not restricting it to just being actual cases of the disease. I can also just run that again and do some further changes. So for example, if I want to say, now I'm not looking for 2009, I want to say, I want to compare a couple different quarters maybe, and see if Salmonella cases happen more in the first quarter of the year or later in the year. So I want to say, for example, 1/1/08 to 3/31/08. And that's my first record, which is the first 3 months of 2008. And I'm going to make a new request for Salmonella. I could have actually hit duplicate. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to delete this request. Now I notice I'm looking at 2. So I delete it, and instead of making a new, I'm going to click duplicate. And that keeps my disease, keeps my confirmed or presumptive, and keeps my range. And all I'm going to have to do this way is change the year to 2009. Now this report's not going to actually give me a side-by-side comparison because that's not the way that I ran it. It's just going to give me a total count of the combined ones for the combined years. So I'll have to really know what my search was when I did that. With any powerful reporting system, you have some rope. One of the phrases we sometimes use is you have some rope to hang yourself with. So you kind of need to know in advance what you're doing. And that's really by trial and error because it's pretty fast to do. Now another type of report that I might actually be able to see this would be looking at it by year. So this actually gives me cases by year. So if I ran that same type of a query, and maybe I just wanted to see all of 2008 all the way and 2009. I can say from 1/1/2008. This time I don't need advanced find. this is going to give me the 2009 and 2008 cases. It shows me the other years, but I actually didn't include them in. So if I really want to see it for all time, I would just, in my date here, I'd put in like 1/1/2000 maybe, and run it again. And that would give me years back to much farther back. Orpheus actually contains case data all the way back into the mid-'80s for almost every disease. But we really, for reporting purposes, sort of cut it off at about the year 2000. So other reports that we can see on this list here, mostly they're just the similar kind of format. They sort it different ways. There's some zip code reports where you can get counts by zip. How long it takes for treatment to happen, that actually doesn't have the right preview yet. Hospitalization reports, frequency reports, outbreak list reports. So there's quite a few, and they're really good to play with, but really a lot of it is this advanced find button gives you a lot of extra features as well. Also, another thing we see down here is you can search either on onset date or report date. Those are the two primary dates that exist in Orpheus. So for example, if I say, normally for salmonella, of course, you would be looking at the onset date, but if I'm looking at another disease like TB, for example, TB doesn't really use the onset date because it's not known that much, but they do have the report date of when they were going to be reporting that to the CDC. So in this case, if I wanted to see exactly what that's doing, I can click on Advanced Find and click Run Report. And I can see that the date that it puts into is the report date field, not the onset date field, which is up here. Of course, you can also manually do that yourself just by clicking the Advanced Find button and say, for example, I don't want to even search on report date. I want to search on first specimen date. So I can just cut this and go to first specimen and put it here. And this would give me a list of all the TB cases with the first specimen date sometime between this range, and click Perform Find, and I get those numbers right there. And pretty much everything in the report module is super fast because it's de-identified. The table that you're searching on is actually a copy of the regular case table. It's updated every night, and it searches really fast because it doesn't have any of the patient names in it. Just like when you click here to get a line list, one of the reports that actually exist is just called line list. So you can actually run this same exact one either way, except if you do it this way, it'll pop up into a new window, which is kind of nice. So if you click Run Report here, the line list comes up into a new window, and you can have that sitting here. You can also have multiple reports on the screen at once. So if I put this one here, and I want to run another one, maybe for E. coli or something like that. There's E. coli, and for the same date range, click Perform Find. So now I can kind of compare those two together and see E. coli and salmonella, and print both of those out. Or, I'm sorry, E. coli and TB, and see both of them. And then when I'm done, I simply just close the windows. So that's pretty much it for the basics of reporting. Thanks for your time.